There comes a moment in life when excuses stop sounding convincing, even to yourself. A moment when you realize the problem is not your past, not your circumstances, not other people, it's the standards you've been accepting. That moment is powerful, because that is the moment your new life can begin. Improving your life completely does not start with a big opportunity. It starts with a decision. A quiet decision you make when nobody is watching. The decision that you will no longer live on autopilot. The decision that you will control your actions, your time, your habits, and most importantly, your mind. Discipline is where it all begins. People think discipline is punishment. They think it's suffering, restriction, no fun. But discipline is actually freedom. When you are disciplined, you are no longer controlled by mood, laziness, or distraction. You wake up when you say you will. You work when you say you will. You stop when you say you will. That is power. That is self-respect in action. Every time you do something you said you would do, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, your confidence stops depending on motivation or outside praise. You don't need hype. You don't need perfect conditions. You become dangerous in the best way, because you act regardless of how you feel. But discipline without focus is wasted energy. We live in the most distracted time in human history. Notifications, scrolling, noise, opinions, everyone is fighting for your attention. And what you give your attention to, you give your life to. If your focus is weak, your results will be weak. Focus means learning to say no. No to distractions. No to things that don't move your life forward. No to temporary pleasure that steals long-term success. When you focus deeply on one goal, one skill, one improvement at a time, your growth becomes explosive. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because their attention is scattered in 100 directions. Then comes mental strength, the foundation that holds everything together. Because life will test you. You will feel tired. You will feel doubt. You will want to quit. That is not a sign to stop. That is the moment mental strength is being built. Mental strength is not about never feeling pain. It is about continuing despite pain. It's getting up when you don't feel like it. It's staying calm when things go wrong. It's believing in your long-term vision when short-term results are slow. Every challenge you face is not blocking your path. It is building the version of you that can handle success. Understand this clearly, your habits are shaping your identity every single day. You are not becoming your goals. You are becoming your routines. Small daily discipline, repeated again and again, turns into massive life change. 1 hour of focused effort per day can separate you from average people within a year. And yes, it is hard. But the pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts for years. Regret whispers, you could have done more. Discipline says, I did my best. One gives you guilt. The other gives you pride. If you truly want to improve your life completely, train your mind like an athlete trains the body. Guard your thoughts. Remove negative self-talk. Replace I can't with I'm learning. Replace later with now. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy, and the choice is yours every day. You don't need a new year. You don't need perfect timing. You need a decision backed by discipline, protected by focus, and strengthened by a powerful mind. This is your moment. Not to wish. Not to plan endlessly. But to act. Because the life you want is built by the version of you that refuses to quit. The turning point in any life begins with one uncomfortable realization: no one is coming to rescue you. Not your family, not your friends, not luck, not the right time. The day you stop blaming circumstances, your past, or other people is the day your power returns. Responsibility is not a burden, it is control. As long as the reason for your situation is outside you, the solution is also outside you. But the moment you say, this is on me, something shifts. Your mind stops searching for excuses and starts searching for answers. That shift is where growth lives. It's easy to say the environment is bad, opportunities are unfair, or others had a head start. Maybe all of that is true, but responsibility asks a different question: what can I do with what I have, right now? That question builds strength. It forces creativity, action, and resilience. Blame keeps you emotionally comfortable but stuck. Responsibility can feel heavy at first, but it gives you direction. When you own your mistakes, you can improve them. When you own your time, you can manage it. When you own your habits, you can change them. Every successful person you admire made this mental shift. They stopped waiting and started building. They stopped pointing outward and started looking inward. That is where real confidence is born, not from praise, but from knowing your life moves according to your decisions. Discipline is often misunderstood as something harsh, like a life with no joy, no rest, no freedom. In reality, the lack of discipline is what traps people. When you cannot control your impulses, your schedule, or your focus, you are controlled by them. Waking up late, procrastinating, giving in to every distraction may feel comfortable in the moment, but it creates stress, missed chances, and regret. Discipline removes chaos. It creates structure, and structure creates freedom. When your work is done on time, your mind is at peace. When your habits are healthy, your energy increases. When you keep promises to yourself, self-respect grows. Discipline means you decide what happens in your day instead of reacting to everything around you. It is choosing long-term benefit over short-term pleasure. At first, it feels difficult because you are going against old patterns, but over time it becomes your identity. You no longer argue with yourself about what needs to be done. You simply do it. That simplicity reduces mental noise. With discipline, you earn free time without guilt, rest without anxiety, and progress without constant pressure. That is not restriction. That is real freedom in action. Focus has become rare, and that rarity is exactly why it has become powerful. Every day, attention is pulled in dozens of directions: messages, videos, news, noise, endless scrolling. Most people don't lose because they lack intelligence or talent. They lose because their energy is divided. The brain was not designed to constantly switch tasks. Every time attention jumps, mental energy drops. Deep work, the kind that builds skill and produces real progress, requires sustained concentration. When you train yourself to focus on one task for a set period without distraction, you strengthen your ability to think clearly and work efficiently. This is like building a mental muscle. At first, the mind resists. It wants stimulation, novelty, easy dopamine. But when you stay with one task, even when it feels slow, your brain adapts. You begin to understand things more deeply instead of just skimming the surface. Focus also sharpens decision-making. When your mind is not cluttered with constant input, you can see priorities clearly. You start choosing what truly matters instead of reacting to what feels urgent. That difference changes results over time. Protecting your focus means setting boundaries. Turning off notifications, scheduling specific work periods, and giving full attention to what is in front of you. It may feel uncomfortable at first because distraction has become a habit, but discomfort is part of growth. When focus becomes your default, productivity increases, stress decreases, and confidence rises because you see real progress. Mental strength is built in moments people usually try to avoid. Comfort does not create resilience, challenge does. When things are easy, you stay the same. When things are difficult, you are forced to grow. Mental strength is the ability to stay steady when emotions are loud and situations are uncertain. It does not mean ignoring feelings, it means not being controlled by them. Everyone feels doubt, fear, and frustration. The difference is how long you stay there. Strong minds acknowledge discomfort but keep moving with purpose. Each time you push through a tough workout, finish work when tired, or stay calm in a stressful moment, you train emotional control. These small acts compound. Over time, your tolerance for difficulty increases. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Mental strength also comes from perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the question becomes, "What is this teaching me?" That shift turns obstacles into training. Failures become feedback. Delays become preparation. Pressure becomes conditioning. You start to see that hard moments are not punishments but opportunities to build capacity. Life will not remove challenges, but a strong mind changes how those challenges are experienced. Instead of breaking under pressure, you bend, adjust, and continue forward with greater clarity and inner stability. Most people overestimate what a big decision can do and underestimate what a small daily habit can create. Life direction is not shaped in dramatic moments but in quiet routines repeated when no one is watching. Wishing for success, health, confidence, or financial stability means little if daily actions move in the opposite direction. Habits are powerful because they operate automatically. Once formed, they no longer require heavy motivation or constant willpower. That is why they shape identity. If someone studies a little every day, they become knowledgeable. If someone exercises consistently, they become fit. If someone saves small amounts regularly, they build security. These results seem slow at first, almost invisible, which is why many people quit. They expect immediate change, not understanding that habits work like compound interest. The effect multiplies over time. Good habits make life easier in the future, while bad habits make life harder. Skipping effort today often means carrying a bigger burden tomorrow. Building useful routines starts with awareness. Notice how time is spent, how energy is used, what actions are repeated without thinking. Replace one unhelpful habit at a time instead of trying to change everything at once. Small wins build momentum. Each positive action sends a message to the brain about who you are becoming. Over months and years, these repeated behaviors form character, skills, and opportunities. The future is not an accident, it is the result of patterns practiced daily. Discipline often feels uncomfortable in the moment, like choosing effort over ease, structure over impulse. Yet that temporary discomfort is small compared to the weight of regret. Regret grows slowly. It appears when opportunities pass, when health declines, when goals remain dreams for too long. It carries questions that are hard to ignore. What if I had tried? What if I had stayed consistent? What if I had believed in myself sooner? The pain of discipline is immediate but short-lived. Waking up early, practicing a skill, finishing tasks on time may feel difficult, but the feeling fades once the action is done. In its place comes pride and self-respect. Regret works the opposite way. Avoiding effort feels easy now, but later it creates frustration and disappointment that linger. Choosing discipline is a form of self-care for your future self. It is an investment in peace of mind. Each disciplined action reduces future stress because progress is being made. Instead of fearing what lies ahead, you begin to feel prepared. Life always involves effort, either now through discipline or later through consequences. When you understand this clearly, daily choices become easier. You are not just deciding for today, you are shaping how you will feel years from now, whether with confidence from effort or with regret from hesitation. The mind is the command center of everything you do. Your body follows instructions, but your mind gives them. That is why training the mind is more important than training strength, speed, or appearance. A strong body without a disciplined mind collapses under pressure. When fatigue appears, when results are slow, when motivation disappears, the body looks for permission to stop. The mind decides whether that permission is granted. Training the mind means learning how to respond instead of react. It means observing thoughts without instantly believing them. Thoughts like, "This is too hard," or "I'll do it tomorrow," are not facts, they are signals of resistance. Mental training teaches you to pause, question those signals, and move anyway. This skill is built through deliberate discomfort. Cold mornings, focused work sessions, controlled breathing under stress, finishing tasks despite boredom, these moments sharpen awareness and emotional control. Over time, you become less impulsive and more intentional. You stop being ruled by temporary feelings. Pressure no longer feels like a threat but like a test you know how to handle. A trained mind stays calm in chaos, clear in confusion, steady in uncertainty. That stability becomes a competitive advantage in every area of life because while others panic or quit, you continue with clarity and purpose. Motivation feels powerful, but it is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, energy, and circumstances. Waiting to feel motivated is one of the most common reasons people stay stuck. Consistency works differently. It does not depend on emotion, it depends on commitment. Consistency means showing up even when enthusiasm is low and progress feels slow. This is where real change happens. Small actions repeated daily create momentum that motivation alone never can. At first, consistency feels boring because it lacks excitement. There are no dramatic highs, no instant rewards. But beneath that simplicity, something important is happening. Neural pathways are forming. Skills are being refined. Identity is being reshaped. Each repeated action sends a signal to the brain that this behavior matters. Over time, what once required effort becomes automatic. This reduces resistance and decision fatigue. You no longer debate whether to act, action becomes the default. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. When you follow through repeatedly, confidence grows naturally. Not the loud kind, but the quiet certainty that you can rely on your own word. Motivation may start the journey, but consistency carries it forward. It transforms discipline into habit and effort into identity. Long-term success is not the result of rare bursts of intensity, but of steady, repeated commitment that compounds silently until results become undeniable.